Namaskar. In session 1, I discussed about the importance of managerial economics, why we should study economics, how it is relevant in our life, why it has become part and parcel of every discipline. Let me pick up the last thread. I discussed positive, normative, and welfare economics and said objective of every activity is maximization of welfare. Existence of every one of us, maximization of welfare. So now, how we maximize? Now, when we maximize welfare, we have to do production, we have need for whom we are doing, how we should perform, so what, how, for whom, these things we have to discuss. Now, before I analyze how consumer behaves, how producers behave, how distribution takes place, certain words which we use very often in our daily life, like for example, demand. 3 to 4 times everyone uses in the whole day. Price, market, inflation. Now, these are words which we use very often. Do they mean the same thing in economics? Do they mean the same thing when we are talking in the corporate meeting? Do they mean same thing when we are forming some theory or some policy? Or some relevance, some importance differ? So let me take up first certain concepts before I start how our consumer behaves, how demand analysis takes place, how we look production and production analysis. So first of all, the word I'm taking, the word which is used, and especially nowadays, economic theory. Very often we used what you are doing, microeconomic theory, macroeconomic theory, production theory. Malthus gave theory in 1798. This is proving nowadays. These are very often words are used. Keynesian theory, which was given in 1930. What was that? Still we apply in monetary economics. Similarly, Naqshe theory, we say is still relevant. Still we can have in developing economies. What exactly this economic theory word mean? Now, economic theory is a deliberate simplification of factual relationship that attempts to explain cause and effect relationships. They predict, they explain. It's a theoretical reasoning. It's an analysis. Like, for example, just now I used the word Malthus theory, which was given in 1798. And people are saying still it is true. Malthus simply said, because at that time agriculture was the main source of production, main source of income. So production or agriculture production increases at the rate of arithmetic progression. And population increases at geometrical progression, is 2, 4, 8, 16 like this. And arithmetic progression is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what will happen? The gap between food and population, that will increase. According to Malthus, he said population itself must control, that bring the balance between these two, or nature will have. How nature will have the balance? There will be pandemics, there will be floods. That's what is happening now. They say it is true. Similarly, Naqshe explained how developing economies can grow, how they can make capital formation with disguised unemployment. Very famous theory of disguised unemployment. Very famous theory, risk capital capital formation through disguised unemployment. Vicious circle of poverty is still prevailing in developing economies. Now, to explain this, whatever facts and data available, they itself are not sufficient. Facts and data itself is not sufficient. We have to analyze. And with this analysis, how we predict, how we explain. Now, theory gives us this, which is universally proved, which is empirically proved. Similarly, while explaining theory, we use the word economic model. Very often, economic model of this. Now, what is model? A representation of theory, which gives us the insight to understand causal relationship. I will give you a very beautiful, this model can be a graph, this model can be an equation, this model can be a just words. Like, for example, I say in corporate world, producer produces that level of output, we maximize his profit. This is also economic model. And I will give you an example. Just recently, on 23rd March 2021, Suez Canal was blocked by a ship. Approximately 12% of global trade passes through that. It was a heavy loss. 6 days. Now, how journalists proved? How journalists showed to the people? Very beautifully on 23rd March at 9 o'clock, main news, whether it was Daily News Analysis, whether it was Aaj Tak or by any other journalist, explained beautifully through models how it was blocked, how loss is taking place, because at that time per hour it was $400 million. Loss was taking place globally. So, model explained, make it easy to understand theory. And that's why we need. Similarly, another aspect, economic policy, which we very often use. What is economic policy? What exactly this mean? And what is the difference between theory and policy? Policy, whenever we are talking about policy, it requires goal. What is the objective? What for? Why? Like, for example, we say that there is a unemployment. So what action we should take? How much investment should take place? So Keynesian theory says fiscal deficit can take place. We can invest, we should invest to increase the money, increase the wages, people will have income, and then they will expand, the demand will increase. With increase in demand, prices will increase, and price will be motivational factor for the investment, and people will invest, and employment will be generated. Beautifully. So what policy? So policy, how much of the nation budget should go for defense? How much should go for consumption purposes? How much for luxury goods? How much for essential goods? Now, all these decisions based on the goal, economic goal of that economy. Similarly, this budgeting, etc., done at home also. We have to frame They are short-term, they were as well as long-term goods. In the family also, we buy durable goods, we buy single-use goods. We postpone certain things. We have to plan accordingly. And what we need policy. This managerial economics whole analysis explain this, how to frame this policy to achieve your short-term goals and long-run goals. Similarly, a word we use with demand. I have taken this, I have consumed this, I need this. Why do you need something? Why do you want something? If you wish to have a glass of water, when you wish to have a glass of water, because you are feeling thirsty. When you want to eat food, because you are hungry. You don't eat food just like that, because you are feeling hungry. So what you are deriving, a word which we use very often in economics is utility. What exactly the word utility means? Utility is the satisfying power of a commodity. We consume something, we use something because it is giving some satisfaction. It is satisfying some need. For example, when you are thirsty, you will have one glass of water. When the second glass of water is given to you, you say, no, I don't want this. Similarly, while eating food, you can have one chapati, you can have second chapati, but when third is given, you say, no, I don't want. Even if the food which you want the most, which you like the most, you don't consume indefinitely. Because after that, you are not deriving utility. So what is utility? Utility is a satisfying power of a commodity. And when you consume, you use, you take utility. If any product, anything which does not have any utility, you will not consume, you will not have. So when you are demanding something, when you want something, you're wanting because it is going to satisfy your some need, some desire. It has some satisfying power. So satisfying power of a commodity is known as utility. Another word which we use very often is production. Everywhere I have produced this. This production has taken place. So when production we are talking about, in layman's language, generally production is physical goods and services produced, we say production has taken place. Stock, inventory, this is production. In economics, this is creation of utility. By any mode with which you increase utility of a product, that is production. If mechanic has repaired my music system and created utility, it's a production. With the passage of time, rice gains and increase in the price of that value. Value of that rice increases. This is productivity. So it's not just physical goods and services, but it's a creation of utility, that is production. Similarly, what is consumption? I consume this, I have consumed this, I have not this. Consumption also in economics is consumption of utility. Whenever we consume something, we are not destroying or we are not finishing the product. What we are consuming? We are consuming utility of that product. Maybe utility of product has finished for me, but there may be utility for someone else. Like, for example, burning of effigies on the Shara. It's a consumption because it is giving entertainment to people. It is a religious activity. But if there is a burning of house, it's not consumption, it's a destruction. So words which are used in economics and with words which are used in layman's life or day-to-day use, there's a slight difference. A manager has to see these words. I will take up in session 3 and I will continue with it before I start demand analysis. Namaskar.